apologize for the delay. We had some technical difficulties. What time is it, Lloyd?
7:37.
Okay, everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call for attendance, please.
Michael.
Here.
Sandy.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Lori here.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
The agenda first. I'll make a motion to approve the regular agenda as presented. Oh,
Take up.
I'm sorry.
Let's start over.
Redo.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda.
I would like to remove from the agenda the motion to approve contract with William Clausen at this point.
I'll second that. One quick question. On the agenda that I received in the mail, there were 4 unfinished business items. On the one that the audience received, there are 3.
Correct. And I sent you an email explaining why that was taken off.
Okay, all right. Nice.
Okay, any other changes to the agenda?
We need to vote on taking it off the agenda first. So I made a motion to take it off. Michael
Michael
seconded.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Well, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Open session. Anyone to address the board with agenda items only? Okay. Moving on to unfinished business. Motion to approve township garage yard sale ordinance.
Well, can we have some discussion on that first?
I need a motion
Okay.
first.
All right, I'll make the motion to approve the
it.
township ordinance.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. Michael?
Well, it's a nicely designed ordinance, very clear right up until the very end. It's a Section 5 penalties for Board of Trustees to determine. However, it doesn't mention any penalties. So is that something that's going to be taking place later?
That's for the, if the Board of Trustees want to discuss it and determine what the penalties are
So the penalties would be decided right now?
with the board.
Okay. Well, I mean, what are some of the suggested penalties that you might have?
What are yours?
Well, last month it was tabled because there didn't appear to be enough information. I think if there's going to be penalties like this, it probably would be best to table it another month and look around at some of the similar ordinances in other townships and municipalities to see what their penalties are so we can pick and choose which the ones the best are.
That's very good.
Are you done?
Yes.
Sandy, do you have anything? I feel that, I appreciate what the planning commission was doing with the garage sale ordinance, but after I read it, I didn't feel that it was what I was looking for with regards to the complaints that we have from the residents. We don't really have any issues with residents complaining about garage sales. It's more or less the continuation of what certain people want to call garage sales so that they can basically have a private business or a residential business every day. So, I like the garage sale ordinance, but that's not what I was looking for after I read it. I just think that it was more of a blight issue that I was looking into, and after I looked through all my complaints in there, I didn't really have that many. I didn't have any that were complaining about garage sale. I had more or less people that were having continuous garage sales. And I agree with the limitations, but then I don't think it's fair with the other residents that do them on a weekend basis, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. When I read the purpose, which was Cottrellville Township has instituted a garage/yard sale ordinance due to the prolonged display of goods for sale for extended lengths of time and advertising signs forgotten and left on display past the date of the sale. That's not what this is addressing. And I think we have an ordinance already with regard to people selling out of their yard in a residential area. So I don't think that this addresses what it was that we were looking at. So I think
So you want to table it so that...
table it until we get more information and try and figure out
What do you think, Ken?
exactly
Are you
what we
done?
want to do.
Let's vote. We already have a motion to vote.
Oh, with discussion, so,
Well, then I'll amend the motion to table the township yardage sale ordinance until more information can be attained.
make it a second. Okay, motion dies for lack of support.
So now we vote on the original one?
That's correct. That's the way it should be.
So,
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I know I was waiting for her, so, I thought you were done.
Almost. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Motion to approve township garage yard sale ordinance.
Motion was by Michael and seconded by Sandy.
All in favor? Opposed?
Nay.
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 Item number 2, motion to approve fall cleanup.
I'll make a motion to approve the fall cleanup.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Well, I talked with Emterra, and they're pleased with the way things worked out at the special meeting, and
At the special meeting.
yes, you know, the minutes that we approved, with Gary.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the
cleanup.
I was
Spring
like,
cleanup.
what?
But Gary Veristo, very nice, he gave us the choice of September 6th or September 13th. I personally feel, based on the spring cleanup, it would be much better to probably have it on one day rather than two. The turnout was much larger on the first day. I think to set the hours, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. would work out great. Again, one thing I can say, and it looks like just about everyone I've said this to is in agreement, on the spring cleanup, almost immediately the first bin was filled up, and we had to take all the tires out of that bin and put them off to the side, and then have metal off to the side. So it seems like we obviously need one for tires, one for metal, and at least two for other garbage and junk. So I think those are the minimum requirements.
Cindy, do you have anything?
Is Emterra charging us?
No. Nope, it would be free to taxpayers again.
Ken, do you have anything?
When I came over here, I was over 3 times. I didn't see anything that couldn't have been put out by the road that was on this particular cleanup. And it seemed like Tony Spatafor and Matt Kowalczyk were working very hard at it, and Sue Biscorner was here. But it was just basically the same stuff that MTR picks up on the side of the road every morning, or every Monday morning.
Well, I mean, those tires aren't exactly things that you can set out by the road. Also, one person brought a porta potty. That's not something that's taken away. And just in case anyone was wondering, there was number 2 in it. Not exactly the most, not something that you want to see when you open it. There were plenty of larger items that could not be put by the road. I mean, considering it cost the taxpayers nothing, we got a really nice turnout for things like concrete and some of those other large things. There's no reason not to when you got someone, the people to do it.
Lori, do you have anything?
I know that when we had large items, we just called them and the team would pick them up. And the paint cans, you can put the paint cans out by the road if you open them up to show that you have the sand and the kitty litter in there.
I wasn't here that weekend, but from what I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was kind of hard to get volunteers.
Yeah,
We had a lack of volunteers.
No, the first year that...
This last cleanup,
Right, well, I'm just telling to explain the resources needed. During the 2013 spring cleanup, we had me, Tony Spatafor, my mom, Susan Gladwell, and a young fellow named Chris Baker, just a 14-year-old kid. We did fine. Then this time, we had a lot more people. Most of them were doing things like cutting trees and picking up, garbage along the ditches, all very valuable, important duties. But the people actually putting things in the garbage and, lifting, there was only a handful of people. So, I mean, you don't really need a lot of resources. The main thing is just to make that option available to the taxpayers.
Lori, you filled in for me at the last minute, and I can feel what was your idea of what you saw. I wasn't here.
I felt that we could have used more volunteers. I was running around, I was going and getting stuff and coming back, but the first day was better than the second day. The second day was very slow and take in that much stuff.
Okay. Anybody else have any discussion?
Well, advertising it in the newsletter, that's another nice advantage of approving it right now, because previously, even though there was advertisement in the newspapers, they were still on the small side. The one in the Blue Water community for the Times-Herald only printed once. The real key issue is having it in the newsletter, so that way everyone has it. I think we'd get a huge turnout if we could do that.
Okay. Because I have an email from you that was sent to me from the editors of the papers that I advertised on, and you stated that I never contacted them and that you were told no advertisement was given. I also have here my documentation showing that the advertisement was in fact in the paper. It was dated April 10th when I sent both the Times-Herald and the Voice with regards to the section and the advertisement that we put in, so I don't understand how you had that. And then plus I also have the actual newspaper clippings of where they're put in, so I'm not quite sure about how we would advertise it, being that I advertised it and Mr. Zorn said that I didn't, and then you have all the documentation, so that's my concern with that.
Well, to answer your question briefly, with the Voice, it did appear in the Voice. However, the Blue Water Shopper, it appeared once when I contacted them. I didn't see it after that.
Okay, but you stated to the editors that I never contacted them and that you were told this, and then you also put it in your newspaper article. And now you're saying that, so that's just...
Well, I'm simply going to tell you a woman named Mary Jo from the Times-Herald. That's what I was told. So, but I don't want to argue about something this, petty.
That's not petty to me, Michael.
Well, the
When you're
key...
saying I never did something instead of calling me and asking me.
Well, the key is to make sure it's advertised in the township newsletter and make sure that the
Oh, now
people...
that's key. It's before the key.
I think what the problem is that I was accused of things that did not happen, and Supervisor Caselli was accused of things that did not happen, and I don't appreciate that.
Well,
And
I don't know how all of a sudden we went from trying to help having a fall cleanup
we're
to...
talking about helping the fall cleanup, but that kind of deters people from wanting to come and help with the fall cleanup if they're going to be accused of things that they haven't done. And when I said that I was going to place the ads in the paper, and I did, and for you to send emails out to editors and other people, and there's 1, 2, 3, like 10 people here claiming that I didn't, instead of contacting me. That I have a problem with, because I don't want to spend my time again making sure that I set all of this up, it gets advertised, and then you're going to put out there that I didn't do it.
Well, again, I'm not going to
I would
argue...
actually like an apology is what I'd like, that you were incorrect.
One thing that I noticed at the last cleanup was that almost every vehicle that pulled into the drive, Mr. Zorn hightailed it over there, and when I overheard him talking, he was bad-mouthing the rest of the board. I'm not helping with a cleanup. I'm not gonna get subjected to that anymore.
If I might, my complaint was apologizing to the people that there were only 2 bins there because there was not anything, you had to put metal off to the side. You could not put
But
it...
Gary spoke to you about that, and I can have him at the next meeting, because I did ask him for 3, and he specifically told you on the phone conversation that I did request 3. And you're not mentioning that right now, are you?
What I'm mentioning is, I heard on the telephone...
It would be Tara's fault, not mine.
Well, regardless,
Or anybody else's.
I hadn't heard it at the, what the correct story about what your role was, other than...
Yes, you have.
Other than...
Because Gary told you. So we're going to move this along and make a vote. Can you restate the motion, please?
Yes,
Not you, Lori, she's the clerk.
Well, we're past the discussion portion, so I'd like...
Can you restate it? so-
I don't have every word written down because I rely on the tape, but I would also like, since Mr. Zorn came up with the motion, to just restate it, because this is the
So you
final
have
motion.
verbatim, you got it.
Right.
yes. I would like to approve the fall cleanup for the benefit of the taxpayers, with tax-free, with announcement placed in the newsletter
With what dates, please?
for September 13th.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion dies. Item number 3, motion to approve sewer bill relief due to water leak in the amount of $195.
Okay, this one was before, I'll make a motion to approve a sewer bill relief due to water leak in the amount of $195.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
This
Yep.
was in the packet last month, and it's my understanding there was a little confusion because there was a wrong address on the bill. What this is a person had a water leak, and the way the township bills for sewer is how much water goes into the household. If you have a leak and it goes out into the ground, you don't really have any way of telling how much didn't go into the sewer. But the sewer bill is based on the amount that went into the household. So what we normally do, past practice is to look at the average usage over a period of time and then determine how much over their usage in water purchase it was. In this case, their average is 6 per quarter, and they had 45 on the last bill. So that's an over of 39 units. The problem comes in that they are now charged for sewer when they didn't utilize the sewer. So what we do is just calculate out, it's $5 per unit for sewer, which comes out to $195. And this person submitted the bill because we request some form of proving that they had some kind of a problem. And on that is where you see that Elginak instead of Marine City or Cottrellville address. And that's what that receipt is for.
Ken, do you have anything for discussion?
No, none at this time.
Sandy? No. Michael?
Well, I'm just wondering what makes it something that we're talking about this month as compared to not last month?
Because I wasn't here to explain it.
Okay.
All right. All in favor to approve sewer bill relief due to water leak in the amount of $195? Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business. Presentation by Telomar Bank to change tax account from Fifth Third to Telomar.
Well, currently, the township uses two banks, Fifth Third and Tomer, for our general and our tax account. I would like to go to one bank, Tomer, for both our accounts. So this is Julie, she's from Tomer Bank.
Excuse me, I'm Julie Gus. I'm the Managing Director of Public Funds for Town Bank and Trust. We're based in Troy, Michigan. We've had a I'm Julie Gus, and I'm the Managing Director of Public Funds for Town Bank and Trust for Troy, Michigan, with a very strong presence here in St. Clair County. We've had the Cottrellville Township operating funds for many years, with the exception of tax account, which was held at Fifth Third account. So Sandy and my colleagues Bobby Fisher and Whitney Swanson and I have been in discussions with Sandy in regards to consolidating those so that all of the accounts are here at Telmer for simple operating reasons. It just makes lots of logistical sense. I don't know how much more detail.
No, a lot of times people pay their tax bills with their water bills, which we can't take, I had to return them. They're two different banks. So eventually to get the direct deposit,
Right.
which
the
would...
efficiency would go up tremendously.
Yes.
Because it's, a few clicks of the mouse as opposed to having her physically go from bank to bank, which is superior as well.
In both banks I use daily, so I have to go to two different, I think that residents would benefit.
And it's my understanding that if somebody wants to pay their taxes and their water bill at the same time,
They have to write separate checks.
they have to write two separate checks instead of one, and what we're trying to do is get, so they can only, that
Correct,
they
if they-
can just write one check.
Correct, if they choose, yes. And like I said,
Mr.
eventually I can
Dingaman?
get the direct deposit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Now, by having it all at your bank versus two banks, what does that do with the overall, should there be a bank failure or something for insurance, the FDIC?
Well, it's my, the one thing, I don't believe everything is with us.
If it went over there, if she did move the tax money over to you, what would that do to the overall
Well,
account?
it's, FDIC insurance covers the first $250,000. Obviously, you're well above that, but that's the norm for Michigan municipalities. And by that, I mean, our department deals with probably 300 municipalities across the state of Michigan. We represent almost $500 million in investments. We collateralize none. because Michigan doesn't require collateralization. So what that is extra insurance over and above the FDIC. What you can be confident of is that Michigan banks do have a much more rigorous charter system than other banks across the country, meaning it's tougher to open a bank in Michigan. We have very stringent policies on just the actual procedure. So anybody can hang a shingle in other states. That's not the case here in Michigan. Probably the smartest and most stringent thing that you can do, Sandy's done, and that is her due diligence. She's gotten to know us, she's gotten to know our bank, and who we're all about. That's what I'm here to answer questions too. If I can elaborate any more for you, please let me know. But through her participation with the Michigan Municipal Treasurers Association, the St. Clair County Treasurers Association, she's gotten to know her banks, not just me, but all the banks in the community. Logistically, fiscally, efficiency-wise, it makes more sense, in my humble opinion, that she does consolidate it with our bank. And I think she could answer questions pretty confidently on the financial structure of our bank. I did provide the board with a package of information on our financials. It includes an outside agency, which is Bauer Bank Rating Agency. So it's not just my financials that I'm giving, but their opinion. And on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, we've been a 5-star bank since we were created about 6 years ago. And I think that's because of our strong management team. We're very, very conservative. All of the executive management team is true bankers. Surprisingly, it might surprise you to know that many banks' management team are not bankers. They're just kind of running the business. We're kind of all independent in our place. And we're very committed to the community. So we are out in front of, township boards like yourself, very active in St. Clair County community events we like to participate in. But back to your original question, in order to ensure every penny of the township money, you literally have to place it all over the state of Michigan, which really isn't feasible. You know what I mean? Break it down into $250,000 increments. There's a way to do that. It's called the CDARS program. And banks would pay an outside firm by the name of Promontory Network Agency, and you'd pay them, and they would place the money for you all over the country. Michigan State Legislature has made an exception. Ordinarily, your investment dollars can't leave the state of Michigan. With the exception of this Promontory group, they can place it all over the country, and hence get every penny insured. But it's so expensive to do that in this rate environment right now, you virtually make nothing on your deposit.
When she does go to the credit cards where people can just online pay their taxes and things, are you going to work with her so that it just comes direct to you, or?
I wasn't aware of online tax payments. Is that what you're?
Yeah.
In the future?
Yeah, we do that now, but, yeah, we do the ACH right now, and that's one of the reasons I also want to switch, because if the automatic payments, which would help with the general account too, with taxes, maybe we could start that, since we're paying the fee already with your...
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Well, that you would be there to help her?
Oh, absolutely.
as
That's
the
a good thing
bank?
about Tomer, they have a network of people that will help us, they'll come here and teach us new
We do.
ideas, and,
I mean, Can I?
Oh, sure.
Because we are one of the few banks that has a dedicated public fund group. And unlike other banks, many have them, but many don't. So I'm the director of a group of probably 7 or 8 people across the Midwest. And all we deal with is municipalities. So we deal with cities, townships, counties, port authorities, libraries, that type of thing. Because you are very specific. And we think you do need special attention. You have a different investment code that you need to adhere to. We will promise that we'll comply with that investment code. We calculate your interest a little differently so that you earn a higher yield. We have more competitive pricing for townships and cities and schools and things like that. And we just are more kind of boots on the ground as far as things like tonight. I don't think people have a typical branch manager here tonight or maybe a vice president in a retail group. All I do is municipality.
Well, prior to this board, this township has always used 2 or 3 different banks for whatever reasons.
And I
You know, we
encourage
were
that.
never questioned. Are there a lot of townships that have you do everything for them?
No, none. You mean-
Meaning like if we come to you, we're going to be the first one that has all of our banking with you?
Oh, no,
Oh,
I'm
that's not
sorry,
all the
I
banking.
misunderstood.
That's not all our banking.
It's not.
That's just the
I have,
tax.
I have many all our investments all in many, 5 or 6 different
I
banks.
can brag about the treasurer for that. She's doing, like I mentioned, she's educating herself through the Michigan Municipal Treasurers Group. She is, and I know this because I'm at those same meetings with her. You know, when I'm at these same luncheons and conferences and educational seminars, so she's educating herself. So she knows that it's not prudent to have every penny with the same bank, and she doesn't. So what we're talking about tonight are the operational accounts, where you actually transact day-to-day business, but then your excess funds are invested elsewhere. At our encouragement, we don't think that you should have everything. We always advise our clients
Okay.
to spread around. If it's drilled in once, it's drilled in a million times, that they, obviously, safety is the first. Always, always, always. You don't want to be the one that ends up in the paper because you tried to get better rate, or so fly by night.
Right.
And it happens.
Well, the good thing about our tax account, the money's in and out.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't stay in there very long, so.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Any questions?
Somebody else?
No? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandy, do you want to make a motion? Just want to do presentation.
I'd like to make the motion that we take our general fund account and move it from Fifth Third Bank to Talmer Bank and Trust.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry, opposed?
I'm trying to write.
I know, sorry. Motion carries.
Thank you.
There's more for the residents back
Okay.
there. The giveaways and-
Little goodies back there? Okay.
Pens, your pens.
Okay.
Item number 2, discussion with Debbie Harity, I apologize, from the St. Clair County Council on Aging, referring to the millage renewal in August.
Is this directed at me?
No.
You get younger every year.
Good evening, council members. I'm Laura Newsom, Executive Director of the Council on Aging, and with me this evening is Debbie Harity, who is the Supervisor at the Washington Life Center. We are here this evening with a very brief but very important message. The Senior Citizen Service Millage is on the ballot at the August 5th primary. It is a renewal, and that's the important word, renewal. It will not cost taxpayers 1 penny more than they have been paying for the last 2 years. There is something a little different about this renewal, however. In 2010, we passed the renewal of a half mil that was for a 4-year period to renew in 2014, thus this August. By 2012, we had collected enough data to be able to go back to the voters and ask for an increase. We had not had an increase for 26 years. So in 2012, we asked for a 0.3 increase, which created a new question. So what we're doing now is going back to take the 0.5 and the 0.3 and roll that into one question, which will now be for the next 4 years if it passes, instead of having the 2 questions. But again, it's still a renewal that people have been paying for, the 2010 through the 2014 and the 2012 through 2014. So together they make up the 0.8. This millage is of prime importance for seniors to be able to continue living independently in their homes, which is what seniors want to do. I'll give you an example of how important these millage dollars are. We all remember last year when the federal government shut down. The Council on Aging lost $39,000 in 4 days. But because the senior millage was in place, the seniors that were receiving service through Council on Aging and the other agencies that receive these millage dollars did not skip a beat. No senior missed a meal, a ride, a bath, a program because the millage was in place. I am involved with the statewide group, and I know agencies that diminished service during that time or had to actually close down for up to that 2-week period that the federal government was closed. In St. Clair County, our seniors didn't have to suffer that because we had the millage. Many counties across the state do not have a millage, and so it works extremely well for our seniors. As I said, there are 7 agencies that receive these funds. Council on Aging gets the lion's share because we do the lion's share of the service. So we would really appreciate support. Cottrellville is one of the places across this county, I looked it up, from the beginning of the millage for senior citizens who have always been supported, and we're grateful for that. We strongly believe that communities like Cottrellville that care for their elderly and their children are better places to live. And this has been one of those for many years. So again, the choice will be yours. I will say that if you do support this and would like to see services for seniors to continue, please tell your friends and your neighbors, your children, everybody you know, because raising awareness is the answer to this so that everybody will understand how important it is. I talk to everyone, perfect strangers in the Kroger lineup. I trap people in elevators. I do whatever it is I have to do to get the word across how important this is. I called my son this week and asked if he and his wife would like to go to dinner with us on Saturday. And he said, "Mom, are you going to talk to perfect strangers in the restaurant about the millage?" I said, "Probably." But they'll go because they also support this. So, are there any questions about this millage?
All I can say is that I was involved in home care for 12 years, and we had probably out of the 110 patients that we had, about 57 of them were continued area on aging patients, and without that funding, they would not get their lunches, they would not get their bathing, they would not get, and I've seen it firsthand, and I fully support it.
Thank you very much. You know, growing old isn't a club you can just choose to join. But it's good to know that when we get there, I'm there now myself, that when we all get to be seniors, we all know someone who is a senior and is getting service, but it's good to know that it'll be there when we get there as well. So, thank you for your support.
Thank you. Okay, item number 3, discussion of ISO survey. We're going to have Chief Joe Slingster from the Marine City Fire Authority come up and explain exactly what the ISO survey is. You know, a lot of our residents have contacted us with regards to insurance information, and we've been working on it in the background, so now it's coming to a...
Good evening. ISO contacted me. They want to do a review of our fire station, our fire district area, all 4 municipalities. What they have asked for is a map of each municipality. I approached Supervisor Faselli, and the township didn't have one with all the new hydrants on it. The last survey was done in '95, and right now our rating is at a 10, I believe. Could possibly go down, what the gentleman said, to having hydrants throughout the township now. What they're requiring is a map that I did give to Supervisor Faselli. It is of all 4 municipalities. It has a number of the hydrants on there, not exact, but pretty close to what road they're on. The only thing I got from the township, or Ira Township, is a flow test of the hydrants to tell how many gallons per minute come out of the hydrants, and what kind of plan they have of doing this every 1, 2, 3 to 5 years, doing these flow tests. Speaking with the city of Marine City, they are going to do it every 2 years. When they flush the hydrants in the summer or springtime, they are going to do a flow test on each one. What they also ask is a GPS of each hydrant. And I did speak to the guy, and he's not going to require it this time. The city does have GPS of each of their hydrants through the county. It's something that maybe we can, myself and Supervisor Caselli can speak to emergency management about, is having the newer hydrants GPS for the next ISO rating that they do. They just did the city of Algonac, and their rating is possibly going to change, go up or down half a point. I'm hoping the townships does too, which will relieve some of the insurance burden on the residents. In the process of doing all the inventory of the station, each truck, and one thing that's a factor is having full-time to paid on-call firefighters. We have no full-time at this time.
Any questions?
This map costs about $15 compared to about $5,000. I hear you guys are looking to maybe spend or turn down one or the other, but you're more than welcome to have this map. I have another one. And we will update the hydrants that are on Mayor Road. I totally forgot all about them.
And Broadbridge
Yeah,
too.
we went out there today
Yeah,
and did the job.
but that's all right, I mean,
Right.
most of it was,
But he, at first he told me it had to be a kind of a professional map.
Right, when he
Then
sent
when
it
I
out.
talked to him again, he said it can be handwritten on a scratch piece of paper if you wanted. So we.
That's basically the same thing we got when we called this afternoon.
So this will be sufficient for what he needs, which will be in July.
Any questions?
Looks like good, very nice map, looks very detailed.
Sir Matt, did you want to discuss anything with regards to the map?
Sure.
Good evening, Sir Matt Safe with Huron Consultants, Township Engineer. I did receive the ISO document stating what requirements that they need to see on the map, and that's why we put a proposal back to the supervisor. They actually did state for their communication, they want all fire hydrants, main sizes, valves, pressure zones, boundaries, and supply and storage facility, which we don't have. Normally, for other municipalities, what we do is, just like the fire chief said, we would go out and GPS these structures, picking up all the existing hydrants, the valves, and then show them on the map with the water main lines superimposed and their sizes indicated. If I'm hearing you correctly, Chief, that only hydrants are shown on this map with the lines, no valves.
Yeah.
Okay. That was our proposal, to send a survey crew out and actually GPS everything, so we didn't have that electronically. Now, this is the first step, actually. Other municipalities, what they use this map for is electronic for a reliability study, which is required every 5 or 6 years by the state, and also the master planning for your system, which is also required to be updated by every 5 years. And it's actually listed on the ISO communication as one item under item 2, does the water department use hydraulic modeling, which we don't. So this is basically the first step, is to map the township facilities on an electronic map that we can use in the future for hydraulic modeling and master planning. And if I understood correctly, or my understanding, ISO rate your system based on the number of facilities mapped or even on the correct location, just in case if something happened, so your liability will go down. And that's we put that proposal together for your consideration.
If this map is acceptable for this rating, so we've got, what, a 5-year span to have you get the other ones done?
The ISO come more frequent than 5 years, but the state does require a reliability study to be updated every 5 years. I don't know when was the last one submitted. I have no record of that.
1995.
Yeah.
95.
So 9 years.
It's been almost 10 years since you did the last one.
Pat, with,
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years. I'm an engineer, I can't do it.
I guess I can't either.
Just because we took math doesn't mean we know how to do it.
Pat, excuse me, I have a question. Pat, when you did the renewal of the master plan, was that involved in the renewal?
I don't believe so.
That was in 2011 when you did the renewal, right?
Which master plan are you referring to?
Our township, that when you looked into it, because that expires, is that 2016, or is that, am I thinking, Parks and Rec expires this 2015, or next year, I should say?
It
was 3 years ago.
Okay, it was 3.
And I don't think we made any changes. We reviewed it, but we didn't make any changes. I wasn't chairman at the time.
Okay,
But there wasn't changes, so whatever.
okay, so it's just,
If you're
everything's
referring to
updated.
planning,
Our master plan, because I didn't see it in
I
there,
looked
I
at
just
that.
want to make sure.
There was a section that describes the facilities, but it was very basic. I couldn't get any information as far as where hydrants and pipe sizes and all that good stuff. Where are the connections to the 3 other municipalities adjacent to it? That's not shown anywhere.
I had to call IRA to get what they had.
Look through the archives and try to put piecemeal things together, just from my understanding of what your system is doing.
And we were going to have, go ahead, Joe. Thank you so much.
What I was informed is this is just a review. They're not even going to come out into the field. They're just going to stop at the station, look at our inventory list, look at our maps. For them to do a full-blown ISO rating, they would come out into the township and do their own flow testing and all that, and look at your hydrant systems. And so this is just a review at our fire station itself, and then look at your maps that you supply.
Okay. Thank you. Excuse me. And Don wasn't able to make it tonight, so, all right, so that's our discussion. Thank you. We're going to move on to item number 4. Motion to approve relief of payment by Sunco Energy to Marine City Fire Authority for services rendered.
I'll make a motion to approve relief of payment by Sunco Energy to Marine City Fire Authority for services rendered.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
And looking at the things that, are you going to talk about?
I just had them for backup in case anybody.
Oh, okay. I was
somebody's
just
not
looking at all the
clear with
things that
regards
they've,
to what
I'm sorry.
it-
I was looking at all the things that they do for the community, and they,
Do a lot.
they give a lot of things to the fire departments themselves.
Would you like to explain the situation?
I've never seen that letter, and what they give to the fire department is,
Well, the
that I don't
training.
know.
They-
The training, yes, they do
Yeah.
free
They,
training.
they said they offer cause and origin fire investigators, free of charge, first response to gas emergencies, trained all fire departments on a 3-year rotating schedule, free of charge. Their members belong to a bunch of stuff, fire related. And they provide low-cost training to area fire departments, and they sponsor the emergency services appreciation breakfast. And basically, they're just very active in local municipality fire departments.
Yes, they do that. The only concern that I have on that is this was at one of their municipalities, one of their buildings. It wasn't out on the street anywhere. But that's up to the board to decide what they want to do with it.
I guess my
I
question,
submitted it as I was supposed to. And they returned it with
With the letter.
a letter.
There really wasn't a fire, right? I mean,
No, it wasn't. The first one was a 6-inch main leak on Starville and Angling, and the second one was 2 days later at Starville and Angling. One of their outbuildings, which was a evaporator, was overheating. We were not sure what was inside that building. We had heavy smoke chilling when we got there, and all we did is stand by and they come and shut it down. We didn't do anything, but shut the road down around that area.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else for discussion? All right, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor to approve relief of payment by Sunco Energy from the Marine City Fire Authority? I'm restating the motion. Yep,
I'm making the motion.
are you,
that's it.
as for a second, or you just?
No, I said
just
all in
restating?
favor,
Oh,
because you
Oh.
made them. You made the motion, Ken seconded it. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry. Opposed? Motion carried. Excuse me.
Lost me.
Okay, no, all right. We're gonna move to item number 6. Motion to approve Parks and Rec Summer Picnic Event for July 19th with a $500 cap on supplies.
I'll make a motion to approve the Parks and Rec Summer Picnic Event for July 19th, 2014, with a cap of $500 for supplies.
Well,
All in favor? I'm sorry, second?
I'll second it.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion so that it reads,
Well,
She made
that's
the
just to
motion,
start
so the motion,
discussion.
right,
So
we haven't got to
let's
discussion
have
yet.
discussion, and you can add it at the end if that's agreeable.
okay. I think it's incredibly important to purchase materials locally, even if you have to pay a slight amount higher, a little bit more, to keep the money circulating in the local economy. I don't like the idea of going out to a different county or, to get some sort of excellent deal at Costco or wherever. We should try to keep it local. So my amendment, it basically is part of this discussion. I would just like the extra words to be added to purchase, the materials locally.
I have a question of Mr. Zorn then. Where are we going to find the types of things that we can get from Oriental Trading Center or whatever that place is that we can? Yeah. Stuff like that. There's no place locally that we can go to that will give you the items that we are looking for as gifts or prizes for children participants. We were talking about having potato sack races and doing little competitions, the wheelbarrow race and stuff like that, and then giving a little token because kids love the little medallion or a little
The clothes
trophy or,
sets
yeah,
and all that.
the stickers or whatever, and I don't know of any place locally that provides the amount that we would be requesting at a reasonable price, considering the fact that our funds are very limited in the Parks and Rec right now.
Well, when you made a reference to the $500 cap for supplies in association with a picnic, my understanding was that it was similar to the spring cleanup with the $500 cap that you had for hot dogs, pop and chips. I didn't know there was going to be things like little prizes like that. If you can't find a place locally, that's, another situation. But when it comes to the food, that sort of stuff really should be purchased locally, in my opinion.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about the food.
That's a picnic.
I was thinking about how can we get the things we needed, like we get from Oriental Trade Company for,
I don't think you're able to put a stipulation like that. We're all for promoting the business in our community, but
it's up to,
it's the best, you don't know what the
in the
best deal is
interest
at
of
the time.
community
Right.
is saving the community money.
I think this board's pretty pro,
Which facility do we have as a supplier in Cottrellville?
All right, so can you restate the motion, Lauren?
Motion to approve Parks and Rec Summer Picnic Event for July 19th, 2014 with a $500 cap for supplies.
Can you still, yes. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, motion to appoint Bill Wright to the Board of Review.
I'll make a motion to appoint Bill Wright to the Board of Review.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second him.
Okay, discussion. Bill, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Bill Wright. I've been a member of the community for about 14 years. Just looking to go ahead and serve you guys best way I know how. Participate as often as possible. I find the Board of Review as being a good application of my skills and whatever we can go ahead and do. Look forward to helping you guys out best way I can.
Any discussion?
I'll renew my motion.
I'll renew my second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill? Oh, don't go away. I got a lot of people work for you. Thank you.